we are glad to have Mr. P.V. Srinivas sir here with us. He is into loan processing for 5 states. So if you have, we cannot get better person than this and how to make your project bankable. Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me here today. Please welcome Mr. P.V. Srinivas, AGM SIDBI.
Before I start, at the outset, I would like to thank FinCare Advisors for inviting us to talk about SIDBI initiatives to MSME ecosystem. SIDBI was formed in 1990 as a principal financial institution for promotion, financing, and development. And we coordinate with the institutions which are into MSME development. We are like a financial institutions, we are different from the banks. You may ask, what is so special about SIDBI? Though lending is part of SIDBI, but we focus more on development of MSME ecosystem. What are the challenges faced by the MSME? How to improve that? What are the see, in that process, we have developed CGTMSE. That is, those who have a good ideas to set up an industry, but they don't have collateral to offer to banks for lending. So towards that direction, we have come up with CGTMSE. We have TRED scheme. I will come on that. TRED scheme we have rating agencies. And for small and medium enterprises, those who want to go to public for IPOs, it's a very expensive for small and medium enterprises, for which we have come up with a SME exchange. It is slightly costly, not costly, but it is useful for the MSME who is having a growth plans to scale up their operations. We started as an indirect lending. That means we were giving to banks and NBFCs, those to lend it to MSMEs. That means it's a refinancing. We started like a refinancing institution. Gradually, we moved to direct lending. That means we directly give to the MSME sector. And recently, we have set up a express processing loan center. I am part of that, looking after 5 states. What we do is we basically do only appraisal. To speed up the processing, it's a separate cell. Earlier, it was Bank of Baroda was having that. Now, SIDBI also started this initiative to make lending quick and with a focused approach. You need not approach anybody except to the relevant branch, and the process will be done smoothly with end-to-end digital initiatives SIDBI has come up with. Under direct lending, I will come with the detailed schemes. Under direct lending, we are doing innovative lending measures, like you can sit at your home, file your application online, you can do digitally signed, and you can send it to us. Process will be done digitally. Everything, it's it's digital. You need not visit and waste your time visiting branch number of times. Anything, everything will be talked over phone. If required, maybe at the time of documentation only, you need to visit the branch for executing documents. As our friend said, he's talking about microfinance lending institutions have done so much of bad to the society. In this connection, I'm not debating, but I just want to say why it has come up. Microfinance lending institutions have come to reach the poorest of the poor. As somebody said that everything is there in the bottom of the pyramid. This poorest of the poor is not touched by the banks, or to the extent they were directly reaching money lenders. And they are borrowing at the rate of 100%. Can you imagine they are borrowing at 100%? Suppose in the morning, if they take 100 rupees, they have to pay 10 rupees interest in the evening. That is how the system was. And SIDBI, after looking at this, we said, banks cannot reach them, SIDBI cannot reach them. What is the source? How we are able to give funding to that poorest of the poor at a very, very competitive rates. In the process, these microfinance institutions have come up. Yes, I do agree, the rate of interest is slightly high, but let me tell you, as a we are like middle class people or whatever maybe, when we approach bank, if they say the rate of interest for a home loan is around 10%, we start negotiating. See, my CIBIL is good. Why you are charging me more? Other bank is giving me at a very competitive rate. But the poorest of the poor, they are getting at a 30%, 40% through microfinance lending. Still, it is cheaper when compared to money lenders. They were resorting to money lenders by pledging something and they are getting that money. Let me tell you that cost is also factored in. It's not that it is just like that they have increased that cost. It is the funding is reaching to their doorsteps. They need not visit microfinance institution. These people go to the doorsteps of the beneficiary, they lend to them, and even collection also, they go to that center and they will collect. So the transition cost, everything is loaded in that. And the risk factor, see, he goes and take money and lend money. While coming back, there were so many instances that they were robbed. So many issues were involved in the microfinance institutions. But yes, after some time in 2010, the RBI has looked into the aspect and there was a Maligam committee. Subsequently, the microfinance institution, whatever lending they are making, there was a cap. Earlier, there was a no cap. My vision will, I can lend at 40% or 30%, whatever maybe, but there is a cap now. And that is the system which empowers the poorest of the poor. Towards that direction, SIDBI with Government of India has come up with Mudra. Why, somebody can ask, Mudra straight away, you can give up to 10 lakhs for the existing entrepreneurs. Some gentleman asked, why you need 3 years balance sheet? That is the benchmark. That is like, it's for the existing entrepreneur, it is not for the new one. Who, in a small way, doing a business, want to grow up its business, this Mudra will facilitate them. Why there is 3 schemes? Somebody has explained in the last slide. Why there is 3 schemes? Government want to know how they have migrated from Kishore to Tarun. That they want to know. So that is the reason they have set that 3 ceilings in Mudra. Definitely, Mudra will be helpful in the sense that any bank, they don't touch loans from 0 to 10 lakhs. That is called missing middle segment, that nobody will touch. To avoid, to reach that, to those category of people, we have come up with Mudra scheme. Thereafter, to have a focus for women entrepreneurs and SC/ST people, there was another scheme launched called Stand Up India. This is basically, it's for a new entrepreneurs. It is not for the existing entrepreneurs. It is purely for the new entrepreneurs. And you may ask that if they approach bank, they are not doing this Stand Up India and all. To that, what government has done is, each branch in India, any bank, each branch has to do minimum 1 loan for women entrepreneur and 1 loan for SC/ST under this scheme. So roughly 150,000 branches, more than that, if you multiply into 2, there will be beneficiaries of around 3 lakh. New entrepreneurs, it is not existing. One more thing I would like to tell, it's a woman entrepreneur means somebody will say, I want to set up with my husband or my brother. That is also possible, but what you have to do is 51% shareholding should be with the woman entrepreneur. The balance 49% can be with her husband or with her brother or whoever may be. That is eligible. Same for SC/ST also. He should have 51% shareholding in that firm, and the balance can be anybody. Those are eligible for Mudra, Stand Up India, and loan can be covered under CGTMSE, Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. We talk about MSME. Earlier, we used to say small scale industry or service sector. Now that concept has gone. Industry, service sector, it's not different. Though outside it is a service sector, industry is different. But in the government's point of view, in the MSME point of view, They have removed I and replaced with E. E is enterprise, which is for both service sector as well as for manufacturing industry. Recently, in the 2020 MSME revised guidelines have come. That was displayed by MSME presentation. They have displayed that. I don't want to talk about the increase in the limits, but the changes made in MSME definition, definitely it will be interesting. What they have done is, earlier, in the MSME definition, there is separate category for service sector and for manufacturing. That has been removed now. Those who are into service sector, their eligibility criteria is different. For manufacturing, it was different. But now that is removed. Both for service sector and MSME is the same. That is the best part they made. Second thing is, how to identify whether he falls under micro, small, and medium. The investment in the plant and machinery was the important aspect we were looking at in the earlier MSME definition. There, we used to take gross value of the machinery. That means, when you purchased at 10 lakhs rupees, now after 5 years, after depreciation, it would be maybe 2-3 lakhs. But we were considering only 10 lakhs. That has been removed now. Now it is purely on the written down value method. What is the book value as on date? That is considered for the MSME definition. Third best part, and now they have included turnover also. Earlier only for investment in machinery, now investment in machinery plus and the turnover. That is the classification. And the best third point is that whatever exports you are making, that is exempted from the turnover. When we classify that as a micro or small or medium, suppose you are making, the medium is maximum turnover is 250 crores. 250 crores. Suppose in 250 crores, you have, say, 50 crores towards exports. You are, suppose your turnover is 255. So you are crossing medium. Medium turnover is 250, but you have a 255 turnover. In that 255, suppose 55 or 50 is export sales, you are eligible under medium sector because export sales are not computed for MSME definition. Regarding CGTMSE, you can take loans up to 2 crore without any collateral. That was the idea of setting up CGTMSE. But many MSMEs have faced problem in the sense, the changes, recent changes I will let you, because everybody know about CGTMSE, the changes I will tell you. The changes is that earlier if some entrepreneur has taken 2 crores loan and covered under CGTMSE, that loan is fully repaid to the bank, but still he is not eligible for assistance under CGTMSE. That is locked once for all. To that unit, once availed is over, that's it. Now CGTMSE has come up with a new guidelines wherein 2 crores you have taken loan, as on date, say the outstanding is around 1 crore, you are eligible for another 1 crore under CGTMSE. That is the best change has been brought in the CGTMSE. And the second aspect is, coverage under CGTMSE has cost. Around 2% they charge as a service charges. So earlier what was happening, suppose you have taken a loan of 2 crore, you have to pay, say, 2% service charge every year on 2 crore. It is a burden on the entrepreneur in the sense that he is prepaying his loan every year, but he is paying service charge on the sanctioned loan, not on the outstanding. That changes have been brought in now. Every year, whatever outstanding at the end of the calendar year, they will be asking you to pay service charge on the outstanding only. And under innovative lending for small entrepreneurs, we have come up with a Prayas scheme. It's an entire end-to-end digital journey. You need not even see SIDBI officials also. We have linked with micro lending institutions. They identify an entrepreneur who has a requirement of, say, up to 5 lakhs. He can approach that microfinance lending institute. They will lodge the application. It will come to SIDBI. We'll see if with KYC everything is complied. We'll sanction the loan. That will flow to that MFI. They will sanction. Once we sanction, all process will be done by MFI. And for disbursement, it will come to us, we'll approve, it is done through online. This is the new initiative for the missing middle. I was keep on saying the missing middle is from 0 to 10 lakhs. That is addressed by SIDBI through Prayas. That is the new launch made by SIDBI. And fund of funds, I think that is only for startups. Many people like young generation, they have new ideas to have. Like nowadays, we are looking at that unicorns. Many are coming up with startup with good new innovative ideas. What SIDBI is doing is we have a tie-up with IIT Kanpur. We have an incubation center there. Those aspiring entrepreneurs, before taking up the entrepreneurship, if they want to test their entrepreneur skills or their product, they can very well approach that incubation center, make a trial, attempt. If it is successful, or they will guide you what are the issues being faced in the process. You make those corrections, again go to the incubation center, get everything cleared, and you can launch your product in the market. That facilitation is done by SIDBI through IIT Kanpur. Those who are interested, they can log into SIDBI website and you can directly go through online for IIT Kanpur incubation centers. And fund of funds we have started for the startups. Though SIDBI is not doing directly, we are doing through alternative investment funds. Whoever startups, they can approach AFS. There are so many AFS. And we lend to AFS and they in turn lend to startups. Regarding promotional and development activities, that is the core of SIDBI. Yes, lending for survival, we have to do lending. But our main goal is to promote MSME ecosystem. We have many schemes like skill development scheme. SIDBI was into tie-up with so many things. For women entrepreneurs, we are having so many tie-up with many institutions to upgrade their skills or to make them self-sustainable. We have some projects like Usha Shilai. That was a very successful. We have a tie-up with Usha, and that is very successful to the women entrepreneurs. And this is mainly for the aspiring entrepreneurs. You please visit Udyami Mitra portal. It's like, I can tell you, that was launched by SIDBI. You need not go to anybody to know how to set up an entrepreneurship, what are the challenges you will be facing, how to set up a company. All those are addressed. There are success stories, there are project reports. Everything is in that Udyami Mitra. And the best part is 400 lenders are onboarded in this Udyami Mitra. Simple thing is, those who want to have loan with some other bank, straight away enter into Udyami Mitra. The online application you lodge, choose your bank, that will flow to that bank. So 400 lenders are onboarded. So you need not approach each and every bank, or you need not run each and every door. Straight away go to Udyami Mitra. It is very useful. And there are videos relating to projects. Everything is like A to Z is available in Udyami Mitra. Even the government schemes also loaded in Udyami Mitra, so that any subsidy. Recently somebody was telling that PM Swanidhi, that is during COVID, mostly affected are street vendors. Because nobody moves out, they have no sales. So government decided to give around 10,000 to street vendors. That scheme was made through Udyami Mitra. Just the application has to be done. Flow, everything will be going to the branch, bank, particular bank, and the assistance is done. So that these are the initiatives SIDBI has taken under promotional and developmental activities. This is called Arise. It's a very, very competitive rate we are offering to the entrepreneurs who want to go for modernization. Nowadays, it's very, very important that to an entrepreneur or a business to survive in this competitive world, you should upgrade your technology. That is very critical. You have to minimize your manpower cost. You have to minimize in overhead cost, unless you will be out of the business. To address this issue, we have identified this scheme, which is very competitively, it is linked to repo rate. We were giving at a rate of 5.5, but since the repo rate has increased to 90 basis points, slightly the rate of interest has increased. But it's a very quick, simple application, and everything is done by digital. I keep on saying, earlier you have to give this much of file and all, everything is digital. You have to lodge it, and SIDBI will facilitate in funding up to 10 crores under this scheme. This scheme is a special scheme from RBI, but maybe it is ending by July 31st. Maybe it is likely to extend further. The earlier scheme I talked about is for the existing entrepreneurs. This is for the new entrepreneurs, those who want to set up a greenfield. Projects are identified as two. One is greenfield, the other one is brownfield. Brownfield means it's already running units. Greenfield means they want to set up a new unit. This is also very competitive rate linked to repo rate. We are giving to the new entrepreneurs. Basically, government has identified 25 sectors under this, but still we are giving to other sectors by creating linkage and covering under this Sthapan scheme. The advantages banking with SIDBI is during COVID times, we have a scheme at 5% rate of interest. Those who are into oxygen manufacturing cylinders or those who are assisting to COVID-related activities, we have landed at 5%. Not only that, to the entrepreneurs during COVID, they don't have revenue. Units were shut. But they have fixed overheads like wages, salaries they have to pay to their employees. So we have different schemes called SAFE. We are given to the entrepreneurs at a very, very competitive rate at 5%. This is over and above government scheme of ECLG, that is emergency credit line. That is over and above we are given under SAFE. These are because we see that entrepreneur should not suffer, which is not in his hands. It's external factors. It is not internal factors beyond his control. So we are done under SAFE. This is the new scheme launched by Honorable Finance Minister with Exim Bank. This is basically for exporters. Those who have a potential to improve their production lines to meet the export requirements and all. This scheme is covered under that Ubarte Sitare program at a very concessional rate. And this loan is jointly funded by Exim and SIDBI. This is purely targeted for export-oriented units. As I said, for any enterprise to sustain the competitive market, they should improve their overhead costs. Towards this direction, many units, they want to have solar power energy for their units. Because it would be very costly, like if they take it from the grid, it would be costly. To mitigate the power costs, they are coming with the solar rooftops. Under this, we have come up with a scheme called STAR, where we can give for 1 megawatt capacity. This is not for any other purpose, but only for the captive use. That power has to be used only for the consumption of the unit, not for netting that to grid. That is not allowed. That is the reason we have linked it to 1 megawatt. If you want beyond 1 megawatt, that cannot be covered under the scheme. We have a different scheme for that. You want to go for a 5 megawatt and all, that is covered under normal process. This is a quick dispensation for 1 megawatt. We have a tie-up with Tata, and they can approach anybody who wants the solar rooftops. They will facilitate you, and the funding will be done by SIDBI. This is also 100% funding. And here the rate is linked to MCLR. Now SIDBI, earlier we have a PLR, now we have migrated to MCLR, and that is linked to MCLR. Yeah, this is the major issue. Over a period of time, we have been told that SIDBI is giving only term loan. And you are taking collateral from us, and when we need working capital, we approach working capital banker, they say that you have to give us collateral security for that, which they don't have. So the unit is suffering for lack of adequate working capital requirement. So to address this, SIDBI also started working capital funding. Of course, we are using the technology platform of IDBI Bank, City Union Bank, and S Bank. Process, everything is done at SIDBI. Only the day-to-day operations you have to operate with. Out of these 3 banks, you can choose one bank and you have to operate with them. But all DP setting, everything is done by SIDBI. This is what we launched. In this direction, I want to tell you, basically what we come to know is MSMEs, they face receivable, like you make a supply to somebody and you don't get payment at least for maybe 45 days, 60 days, and that definitely affects your working capital cycle. That is the big issue MSME is facing now. What will happen if you are supplying to somebody and you don't realize your receivables within 60 to 70 days, you have to borrow from outside to run your operations. This will add to your cost, and in turn, you cannot be a competitor in the market. To address this, SIDBI has come with a TREDS scheme under RXL, Receivable Exchange India Limited. We have come up with this. What you have to do is, it's like a bidding process. It is not with SIDBI. You have to lodge your Undi. All banks are present in that platform. Whoever gives you a final rate, that bill will be discounted and the money will flow to the MSME. The purchaser will make payment on the due date to the exchange. This is what the arrangement was made. Earlier, SIDBI was also having a receivable finance scheme. We give a limit to the large industry where you supply. We give a limit. You lodge the hundi duly signed by that MSME, large industry. We discount and we give you immediately. On the due date, that large industry will make payment. So to meet the working capital cycle of the MSME, SIDBI has come up with a TRED scheme and through RXL exchange.